Hi everyone. Hope you're really well. Hope you're all right. It's a funny old situation we're still in. So I thought today I could beam out from the treehouse and share a few suggestions and ideas for you to be able to think about how to be able to work on some numbers. And sometimes these ways are the best ways. So I think that you could probably do a really great job with your numbers at home. Probably better than in the classroom, because at home you can investigate and find things out and play around with some numbers. And for the things that I'm talking about today, we're not going to need anything fancy to be able to do it. So it's going to be dead simple and repetitive, and we can do it every day. We can just get better and better at it, and as long as we're missing school, we can still make sure that we are pretty cool with our numbers. So I'm here with my pal, my paper mache pal here, and I'm back in the treehouse, and this time we're going to think about number bonds. So I've got my old school chalkboard here ready. So this is a little bit like I used to have when I first arrived at Bradley Juniors in 2002. And when I first came to the school, all of the classrooms had chalkboards that rotated, and you had to write your things on in the morning, and it was a bit like this. So I'm going to use this today, and I quite like using it, and I must admit there's not a lot that you can't do with a chalkboard. So number bonds and times tables are the two things we're going to look at today. First thing, number bonds. So this just means basically two numbers that make another number. So starts with 10, and we've got 10 Lego pieces here. So Lego's pretty great to be able to use for maths, because children like Lego. So if you've got Lego, then you can definitely work with it, and it feels good, it looks good, you can see numbers. So I've got 10 bricks here in a column. I've counted them all up, and you can do this together so you can see the numbers and you can see what they look like, because it's really important that we see the numbers all the time and we're not just working with the letters and the numbers themselves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have the numbers, and all we're going to do is to work our number bonds to 10. Is we're going to take them apart and put them in two pieces. So if we take them apart like that and just separate them, we can see that we have in this hand 1, 2, 3. So we're going to record that here, and we're going to write that down. So we've got 3 Lego pieces, and to add to these we now need to count these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so then we put them both together, and we would know, because we're back to the start, that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's our first number bond to 10. Then we have to see and try and find out how many different number bonds to 10 we can find. So if we take that number 3 and 7, for example, eventually we might start to understand that if we take 7 and start with that number first and swap it around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, add 1, 2, 3, and put them back together and count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can see that we've got some kind of a pattern going on, so we can work out and learn something in addition, learn something extra from being able to do that. So how many can we find? How many different number bonds to 10? Now I know we're going to be thinking what age group. So end of reception, number bonds to 10. End of year 1, number bonds to 20. So that means that we can go, some days we might be able to do number bonds to 12, we might be able to do number bonds to 15, we might be able to do number bonds to 20, and if your children are getting older, then there's no reason why we can't go bigger and start thinking about using other things. So you might not have a lot of Lego, or you might not have any Lego, so you can use anything to do this. So if we go out in the garden, let's see how many rocks we can find, pebbles, and let's do number bonds with pebbles. Let's do the same thing with sticks. They don't need to be able to connect, so we can do it with little bits of wood, we could do it with leaves, we can do it with dandelions. You could pop to the shop as a treat, and you could do it with some Skittles and some sweeties. So we could work out our number bonds using sweeties, 10 sweets, separate them into 2 groups. What are our number bonds? Write down the number sentence, and then remember it and learn it. And to be able to document and record it and remember it, it's good to be able to get a little bit of paper, maybe make a book or make an exercise book and start to build it up over the weeks, over the days, so that then you can take that away and remember it. You might be able to take photographs of it on the table so you can see how it looks. And all of that helps to be able to go back and go away and to know your number bonds, because you can remember it. So that's when the next day, rather than doing it, you might actually just do a little bit of revision and remember what the numbers are and sort of test yourself on those. Like I say, you don't have to use Lego. If you're in my garden right now, you might be using those, and if you don't have any of those lying around, I'm sure that some of the mums and dads may be able to help you with those, or possibly even those. So any resources at all, anything at all, and that's to enable to the grown-ups to get involved as well. So we have our number bonds, so 2 numbers that make another number, but we can, if we want, if we've got 10 or 20, we could break them up into 3, couldn't we? So there's no reason why you can't take a number, any number, and separate them into 3 groups and then work out what the numbers are. That plus that plus that equals that. And if we're in year 6, we could even go as far as algebra, so we could go A plus B equals C. So if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cubes, so we would know that C is worth 10. And if we were to say that A was worth 3, then we can calculate the value of B. So we can do algebra as well, so it takes it all the way up from reception to year 6, all the way through. So this is quite a cool way of being able to do it and to test and to work out things and to remember and to revise. So to be able to remove digits and to say to, okay, if something had 3 equals 10, but what is it? So we're not always looking for this number as the answer. Sometimes the answer is this number or this number. Okay, so we can do A plus B equals C, and we can change A, we can change B, we can change C. So we can change any of those numbers, we can get bigger and smaller, and that's number bonds. So that's working with numbers. So times tables, so if we can get really cool at our times tables before we come back, that'd be awesome. So what we're going to try and do is try to think about our times tables. So it's not just remembering the times tables like I used to do when I was at school, it's now being able to see those numbers and work out how those numbers work together. So we'll do 3 times tables. So in year 2 we want to be, year 1 we want to start to play around with times tables. Year 2 we definitely want to be thinking a little bit about 2s, 5s and 10s, and then when we get to year 3 we certainly want to be on 3s and 4s and 6s. By the end of year 4 now we're expected to know them all. But the thing is not just knowing them, it's knowing what they represent and what they mean. So let's have a little think about that. So if we're going to do 3 times tables, we're going to take our Lego, we're just going to break them up into chunks of 3. So if this was pasta, bottle tops, you can set them out in groups of 3. And once you've done 1 times table together, you can then apply it to any times table, so you can do lots and lots and lots. So we're going to do our 3 times table, and we're going to do it the proper way, where we learn about all the numbers and we find out exactly what they look like. So if we take this, so this is 3 pieces of Lego, but it's 1 group of 3, so it's 1 lot of 3. So we're going to say, when we write this down, that we have 1 group of 3. And the reason why I say group of is because times is a little bit of a funny word to remember. So instead of saying times, I'm going to say group of. So 1 lot of, or 1 group of, and we've got 1 group of 3. So 1 group of 3, and if we count it 1, 2, 3, we know we've got 3. So we're going to put that there so we can see it, and that's what you're going to do with your pasta. And then we're going to try and find out what 2 groups of 3. So 2 groups of 3, and we're going to say 1, 2, 3. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, and there's 2 groups of 3. And we're going to now have to count them to know what they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 groups of 3 equals 6. So we start to get a little bit of a pattern, and we start to work out exactly what 2 lots of 3 are. So we've got a pattern here as well. So 1, 2, and let's now think about this one. So 3 groups of 3. So if we take, there's 1 lot of 3, there's 2 lots of 3, and there's another lot of 3, and there we are. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 3 groups of 3, but we are going to have to count them up again, aren't we? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gives us 9 in total, and we can carry that on. So that means we can take some pictures of those things, we can draw around them to be able to group them so we can see what we've got. We can start to work out more and more facts from them, but we can start to build it up, and we can use anything to be able to do that, any units of measurement at all. And once you've done your 3 times tables, 2 times tables, 5 times tables, 10 times tables, whatever it might be, we can then start to really start to think about those other times tables as well. So really important. It takes a little while to do it, but you can set it all out on a paving stone or on a kitchen table, and like I say, once you've taken a picture, it can all go. So at least you're being able to create a little visual record, and you can see things, and that's really important for children to be able to see the numbers and to see what they look like and the values. So that's our times tables. So we can go all the way up to 12, in the house, out of the house, in the garden, wherever you choose to do it, and no technology required. So I'm going to leave it there, because I think those are 2 good things that you can do over and over again, and you can work out as much as you want. You can do as much as you like at home. So that's hopefully useful. Not going to say too much more, apart from the fact that I have noticed that the barber shops are closed, and so you may have noticed my new haircut. So once I'd experimented and given my son a buzz cut, I decided to give myself one too. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.